Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about 10 absolute must-have fragrances for the summer, which is very fast approaching, might I add. These are all fantastic fragrances that are going to have you smelling great all summer long. We're out here today on Fort Lauderdale Beach. It's a little bit windy and a little bit loud. Very sorry, but we have to do what we have to do. So number one on the list is going to be Elysium Eau Intense by Roja. And I do like the original version of this, but this new flanker is so good. It's so much better in my opinion. It's just the perfect upgrade. It opens very zesty with this ambergris and rhubarb. And the rhubarb is a note that some people are a little iffy about, but me personally, I'm obsessed. It's very deep and intricate in very typical Roja fashion. We have notes of grapefruit and rhubarb, artemisia, lime and lavender, blackcurrant, orange blossom, rose de mai, a little bit of apple, vetiver and musk, woods, violet leaf, and ambergris. Very fruity, but very natural fruitiness. It's not going to come across as a syrupy sweet type of fruit, and you do get a lot of fruitiness in the opening, but that rhubarb really kind of overshadows everything. It almost has in a very slight type of way a little bit of a liqueur feel, almost kind of like a really beautiful spritz, especially in the mid. It's very refreshing and very invigorating. I love this blue kind of oceanic salty accord in here. Really nice marine element. One of the best like high-end salty marine fragrances with a really interesting twist. Very impressive and super versatile. Great elevated summer staple, Elysium Eau Intense by Roja. Is it just me, or did this wind pick up a little bit since I started filming? So next up we have Lake Balaton by Supers Budapest. This is actually a very recent release from the house. I've been testing it out for the last few weeks, and this one has really impressed me. I kind of wrote it off in the beginning because it kind of has a little bit, just a little bit of this kind of like Baccarat Rouge vibe, this kind of burnt, sweet saffron vibe in the opening. But this one actually turned out to really surprise me. This really takes you on a journey and changes a lot throughout the life of it. So it does open with this kind of like really sweet saffron, more of a masculine take on Baccarat Rouge. It doesn't smell exactly like it, but you're going to get that kind of familiar feeling. But where this takes a turn is when it starts to dry into the mid, it almost transforms into a totally different fragrance. Really just a beautiful sensory journey. Grapefruit, vetiver, moss, and cypriol. A little earthy with this really nice creamy citrus. Something juicy and a little bit spritz-like in here too. Definitely as it starts to dry, you get more of an earthiness and this more like straight up citrus versus the like creamy sweet saffron, but it also just, it feels like a vacation in Europe. I really think that's the best way to describe it. It really just transports you to Europe in summer, like a vacation in Italy or Hungary in this instance. And after a few minutes, this fragrance starts to change a little. That creamy citrus becomes more dry, and this sweet saffron dries down a little bit too. And this more very exotic, earthy vetiver comes out more. And it's so interesting because as this one dries, it just keeps changing. You still get a really nice grapefruit presence, just not as juicy and sweet. Amazing summer night scent. If you really want to make just a huge impression on people around you, this is a great fragrance. And this is also a fantastic fragrance if Baccarat Rouge 540, you like the idea of it, but it was a little too feminine sweet for you. This is going to be a much more masculine take on that DNA with this earthiness. It smells like a very romantic vacation in Europe. This house keeps surprising me as well. Every new thing that I try from them, I'm really impressed by. Really worth checking out. It's a really great value. Plus, I have a code with them, Erica10, to save you 10% off. They're already very low prices. So next up, of course, we have Sedley from Parfum de Marly. This is a summer staple from PDM. It's a very uplifting, minty fragrance that has a very like carefree, casual attitude about it. Very laid back, but still very rich at the same time. I always describe this fragrance as smelling like a literal trust fund baby, and it really does have that energy. Creamy lavender with grapefruit, mandarin orange, and lemon. And I love that the geranium in this really adds more to the mintiness of the scent versus making it soapy. It has this really kind of creamy lavender to it. Sandalwood, cashmere, and vetiver. It smells like a white tea, yachting in Europe, south of France. Summer dreams. Breezy, elegant, and effortless. Speaking of casual, we have Casual Life by Salvatore Ferragamo. This is a true underrated gem in the cheapy world. So affordable and very underrated. You get this really unique contrast between this violet leaf and these black coffee beans. But it's not overly bitter. Cardamom, lemon, geranium, ambroxan, musk, cashmere wood, and cedar. It's so deep. And the cashmere is beautiful here. Kind of smells like silk sheets, like fresh linens. A very soft floral element with a musky undertone. Very aromatic and dressy put together, but still very casual at the same time. This is super versatile, and for around $30–40, it is an amazing deal. Like such a complex, like not a synthetic scent at all. It's really worth checking out if you like violet leaf and coffee. So easy to pull off in any situation. Very appealing. So next up we have Valhalla by Paradis Descends, the it fragrance of this summer. The fragrance that everyone is raving over. Super tropical, crisp, and juicy mango and pear, with a very dominant jasmine and cashmere once again. Pear, mango, orange, and bergamot, cedarwood, vanilla, and amber with ambroxan, tonka bean, and amberwood. This is just such a beautiful, juicy, uplifting, very outgoing scent. It's almost kind of like a refreshing drink, but it doesn't go in an alcoholic direction. It doesn't really smell boozy. It just smells like a really nice, like juicy fruit cocktail. Very creamy, and the cashmere here brings a lot of smoothness. It really balances out that sweet side of the fragrance. And the cashmere, of course, as always, brings a lot of luxury. This just has a really nice kind of ocean breeze feeling. Once again, not as strong as we're getting right now. It's just kind of like you're sitting at a very luxurious, all-inclusive resort in Key West, at the beach, at sunset, beautifully unisex, but playful and daring on a man. So it is so good. Valhalla by Paradis Descends. So another amazing cheapie for the summer is Artisan Pure by John Varvatos. This is so refreshing with this clementine and orange. One of the most beautiful cheapies ever, might I add. There's no way that you would smell this and think that it's only like $20–30. Has lemon, thyme, a lot of greenness, very bubbly ginger and petitgrain, woods, musk, and amber. It is so it's not necessarily simple, but it's just a good mood fragrance. The only thing that this is missing is ambroxan. This fragrance here desperately needed a heavy dose of ambroxan to help the performance, but honestly, if you wanted to, you could just amp this up with a nice ISO-y fragrance like Molecule 01, because sadly, it's only going to last a few hours, but for that price range, I think it can be forgiven. It just smells so good. It's just such an easy, dumb grab. Don't have to think about it. Gym, beach, running errands. It's just so good. So incredibly good. If you know, you know. Artisan Pure by Jean Varvatos. So next up, of course, we have the masterpiece by M. Mikolev, GNTonic, the best boozy fragrance for summer. I am so addicted to this scent, guys. I have to admit it. I am totally addicted. I mean, obviously, because I just can't seem to shut up about this. I'm always going on and on and on about GNTonic. It's heavenly. It smells like the most perfectly realistic gin tonic with lime. Very fizzy and bubbly and effervescent. It has ginger and peppermint, and it is just, you just can't stop smelling it. You get this really bright fizzy opening, but it dries to a more masculine base, more musky and woody, dynamic and earthy and spicy. It's just so fun, but very sensual at the same time. It's literally the Rolls Royce of boozy fragrances for summer. It's not going to be the strongest projector after the first few hours, but this fragrance does have good longevity on the skin. That's really the biggest complaint about this fragrance, is that the projection kind of dies down after about 2–3 hours, but I am here to tell you that it does last on the skin for around 7–8 hours. It's just going to stay a little bit closer to the skin, but that just adds to the sexiness of it, honestly. It's so addicting, so good, summer staple, GNTonic by M. Mikolev. So next up, we have one of the very best from Louis Vuitton, Imagination. This is a very citrusy, ambery, very grounding tea fragrance. Citron, bergamot, Sicilian orange, and neroli, which is such an elegant floral to add to a fragrance, might I add. Very unisex. It doesn't come off like a typically girly floral element, but it's also very high-end and luxurious. I always find that, especially for men, I really love fragrances that have neroli. Very upscale with this ginger and cinnamon, black tea and Broxton guaiac wood, and olibanum. It is just so appealing. And the best part about Imagination is that there's something about the fragrance that is very meditative. It's sweet and musky and clean. You get this really beautiful kind of clean muskiness about it. Clean laundry, clean linen. It's not going to smell soapy in any way. It's going to smell more like just fresh laundry. Mixed with this tea and beautiful woods. Very fresh woods. Everyone has been losing their minds over this fragrance, and honestly, I get the hype behind it, and it's very strong as well. I definitely get the hype. Imagination by Louis Vuitton. So next we have L'Homme Cologne Bleue. This is gonna be taking things in more of a classic direction. Classic masculine summer man. The best L'Homme, in my opinion, just for daily wear in the summer. It has this very addicting sweet apple mixed with some really nice aquatic marine notes. And it's definitely going to be the freshest L'Homme as well. You get a little bit of lavender, but it's not quite is like dominant in this scent as it is in other L'Hommes. Geranium, cardamom, blood orange, black pepper, and patchouli with a little sandalwood and cedar. This is going to be the Bleu de Chanel of the L'Homme line. Citrusy, fruity in the top, but that apple and cardamom just steals the show. A touch green, you almost get a little bit of this almost kind of like lemongrassy element to the scent, but very slight, almost like an essence. It's just so safe, so clean, and very well put together. You can never, ever, ever go wrong wearing a fragrance like L'Homme Cologne Bleue, no matter where you go. So we're gonna wrap up this top 10 with Quattro Pizzi from Casa Marati, and this is going to be a fragrance for a man that wants something tropical, but very different and unique. Someone that wants to make a strong statement with their fragrance. Honestly, this is going to be one of the most unique signature scents for the summer. And this is a gorgeous coconut fragrance, but it's not going to be typical. It's in no way typical whatsoever how, you know, coconut fragrances are usually done. This isn't a very like over the top fruity coconut, you know, like what you traditionally think when you think of tropical scents. This is green and aromatic and deep, sultry and boozy. This has Divana and pink pepper with rum and coriander, with tuberose, coconut, tonka bean, hay, and tobacco leaf. Very interesting to see this combination of coconut and tobacco and rum, and this hay note is really interesting as well. I keep losing the tassel. It kind of adds a little bit of a dry element to the fragrance. Very luxurious and very, very, very alluring. Huge wow factor. But the thing is with Quattro Pizzi is that you're going to have to be someone that likes the note of tuberose. It's definitely not the star of the fragrance. It's not the star of the show here, but it is there and it is semi-dominant. Like you're going to get it, but it is very balanced with these surrounding notes, with the booziness, this rum and this tobacco. It kind of adds a really nice spice. So it's very well balanced. It's not going to feel like a grandma tuberose scent. It's very modern and mixed with that coconut as well. It's just so different and very cool. You're going to feel very edgy and confident when you're wearing this type of fragrance. It's definitely worth trying out if you want something that is just so unique, but very tropical and summery at the same time. I've been really loving this one. It's been a joy. It's been a joy getting to know it. But guys, that is just my top 10 must-have summer fragrances. If you have at least one of these on this list, you are doing amazing for the summer. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a comment below. What is your favorite tropical summer fragrance? What is your must-have summer fragrance? I would love to know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.